Hi everyone, it's Ewan here. Haven't spoken to you in a while. I've been kind of flying under the radar for a while, the last couple of months, but thought I'd give you a small update of where we are with things. Many of you have been wondering about what I've been doing since I left Swarm, and quite simply, I've moved on to join as one of the directors of Airbears. Scott Zimmerman, we've been talking for a while. We've been backwards and forwards over the months and almost years, but recent changes within Swarm, have kind of made me say, that wasn't really the model that I personally feel is going to work. Been speaking to Scott, and we share a lot of the visions about what we think a volunteer drone organization should be doing, what it should be trying to do, and how it adapts into the modern landscape of where search and rescue is going and the adoption of drones and all these types of things. So Scott's very much on the ball. It's really good to speak to someone and to join someone who actually knows this is where things are going and shares the same values as you. And that's one of the reasons, the main reason that I left Swarm, is because at the end of the day, the market is changing, how drones used are changing, the technology itself is also changing, the barrier to entry is lowering. Many of the agencies that we deal with on a day-to-day basis have adopted drones for themselves, and as a consequence, they're relying less and less on pure volunteers, but very much looking to bring people into their teams, for looking to help train them, to looking help with workflows and these types of things. And I think Airbears is going in absolutely the right direction, and that's and I want to continue that. Scott and I have talked about what I'm going to be doing in Airbears. I'm going to be heading up the European side of the business, so Airbears is mainly US based at the moment. European representation is needed, so that's what we're going to be doing going forward. So I'm going to help build out the European model, try and attract EU membership, EU funding, I'm going to come on to that in a minute, and working on the general operating model with how the Europeans manage their search and rescue operations, specifically with drones in mind. So really going to be looking forward to doing that over the coming months. And that's exactly the sort of thing I wanted Swarm to be doing as well, but that's not where we're going. Airbears is definitely where this model is actually going. So why choose Airbears over anything else? Why not start my own organization again? Well, there's a number of reasons. Now, one of the main reasons is the people. Scott and the team are professional, they're forward-looking, they've got good communications, they've got the right commitments, they've got the right expertise, and they've got the right connections. So they've also worked very hard on making sure that they are correctly established. So Airbears is a non-profit organization, and as such it allows the organization to attract funding. It gives limited coverage for users, but also allows us to go out and say to the community and to potential investors and and say, look, we want to do this, and as a consequence, we want to be able to offer these types of things to our members. So a lot of the services that are enjoyed by other search and rescue teams that are already established, things like insurance, expenses, training, education, all of these types of things are exactly the things that Airbear is looking to achieve, and it's where it's going, and that's where the expectation is going in the marketplace as well. So very much a case of making sure that we're all aligned to that, and I really like that model. Being in a non-profit organization allows you to do that. That wasn't an option within Swarm. I don't see that option going forward. There's a lot of obstacles to that. These are obstacles that Airbears has crossed over. A good example. We have, as a non-profit organization, we have more coverage. I wouldn't say insurance coverage, but we have the liability question about if you go and fly for a rescue and someone or something becomes injured through your actions as part of that rescue effort, you're actually covered by the Volunteers Protection Act in the US at least. Some coverage here in Switzerland and other regionals here. So that isn't something that someone like Swarm could do just as a purely volunteer basis with no official framework. So immediately the Swarm model is less important than what AirBear can actually deliver for its members. And that's important because that's only just the beginning. I mean, this is just the law as it sits just now. Where AirBears really wants to go is to look at more things that we can help our members with. And obviously the main things that they're looking at is obviously expenses in equipment and travel and accessories and all these types of things. Training, obviously, these types of things. Insurance coverage. There's a whole load of things that AirBears wants to deliver for its members, and I'm really on board with that. I really want to try and make sure that gets done. So, and one of the other things as well is, of course, is AirBears has made a real effort to integrate with the existing SAR community, and I think I can't emphasize how important that is being established and being recognized as a center of expertise by other search and rescue agencies is really important. And this was really hard to achieve under the Swarm model because it's purely volunteer. There's no real way of actually qualifying how well an operator is doing. The engagement with local teams really wasn't there. It was done by some members but not by all, whereas AirBears does this by default. That's what we look to do. So there's a real engagement model there, which is really important. We have sponsorship as well, which really helps with a lot of the operational expenses of the organization, but looking to move that out into actually moving that funding into the hands of people to help them volunteer their services. You know, it's really unfortunate to say to someone, you know, we'd love to be able to help, but we've got a guy 100 miles away. He can't afford to come out to see you and to do this operation, or he doesn't have this particular equipment or a particular certification that agency might be looking for. And that's the sort of thing AirBears is looking to do, is to really bring that model on board, to really integrate with the local teams. And that's really good. I really like that approach. So, and the main thing about it is obviously they've really adopted the approach of where the model is moving to. You know, 2 years ago, somewhere like Swarm was okay because it was very much ad hoc. A lot of the teams knew nothing about drones or any of their capabilities, so it made it really easy to bring that sort of expertise in. Now that model's changing. They all know what the value is, and now they're looking to see, look, you know, this is the sort of expectations they have. So the expectations are going up. They're looking for better professionals. They're looking for better efficiency. They're looking for better qualifications. They're looking for expectations in the technology. All of that model is moving forward, and AirBears is really on board with that, and they're really making sure that, you know, we're presenting the advances to the teams. We're educating people. They're doing the shows. Scott does dozens of shows. He's out there just now pitching to a whole 20 odds different search and rescue teams and presenting the model for drone use within this. So there's a real sense of altruism here. They're really making sure that what we do is reflected and helps people do the things that we want to do. So that's really important, and that's really why I wanted to get to join AirBears. That's where they're really going, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into it. So yeah, so just to reiterate, kind of the stuff I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be leading up the European side of the model. So looking to raise awareness within the European drone flying community, building out our models, standardizing on our operating models and our qualifications and our minimum requirements, these types of things. Going to be looking to see if we can drive funding within Europe as well, to see if that can help with the model as well. So that's a real crucial requirement. So looking at, I already have engagement with the European Community funding. So these are long processes. The European Community really doesn't move very quickly, but they have funds available for exactly this type of activity. So really looking to hook into that and build that out from here to help use these funds to build out a volunteer model here which can be adopted by everyone. I'm going to be looking at some technology. Obviously there's a EU twist to this, but a lot of this can be transferred back to the US as well. We have a big everyone's talking about ADS-B and airspace integration and these types of things, and that's fine, good, that's the kind of place we want to be going. There are other options other than ADS-B. So some of you may be familiar with FLARM. This is a common protocol used here in Europe for non-full-sized aircraft here, so microlights, paragliders, drones, gliders, these types of things. Now, this allows you situational awareness within the airspace, but it's a fraction of the cost that an ADS-B system would be. Team Black Sheep, for example, they offer FLARM, and the types of things that we're going to be looking to do is to team up with these types of organizations and say, look, we're looking for technology that specifically improves search and rescue operations for drones, using drones. And FLARM is a great example. It's an airspace integration technology. It's relatively cheap, easy to adopt and bring forward. And what we want to try and do is establish partnerships with these types of organizations and say, for all of our members, they'll get a 25–50% discount on this technology. If we can get more, better. I mean, great. And it's just an example. That's the type of organizations we want to get tied up to. Now, we obviously have companies like DJI who also assist with moving forward the search and rescue aspect of drones, and we want to try and hook into that and say, to help our members push that forward and say, we want to use, if you want to use DJI technology to do this, then here's how they're going to do it, and they can help us with this, they can help us with that. So I really want to build up these types of relationships with people. Being a non-profit entity, being an officially recognized entity like AirBears is, makes that job much easier than it was when it was in Swarm. So that's kind of where I've been going these last 2 5. So that's it really. Just to let you know, yeah, that's where I am now. So you're going to start seeing my name appear more in the AirBears website and in the AirBears material. We're going to try and build out this as much as we can. I'm looking forward to moving out our membership into Europe and to expand our area and to work on the various workflow systems that we've got in mind. The call-out system. Everyone remembers what I did with Swarm Reds back in Swarm. So we're going to be taking that, we're going to be lifting that entire database. It's my own work after all. And we're going to be building in the second iteration of that and using that as the AirBear model. So we're looking forward to that. We're looking to seeing everyone helping us and for us helping them as well. So apart from that, I'll wish you goodbye from a not so snowy Switzerland. It should have been snowing, but as you can see, it's anything but. So I've been doing a bit of practice, testing a new model, and that's it. So any questions, by all means drop me a message. Happy to talk you through it, let you know where we're going, and I'm looking forward to keep in touch with you guys going forward. See you soon.